Hello and welcome to study Early Childhood Education Curriculum. I'm Sajivani Vandakoon. Overview of Child Curriculum, Topic 1. Let's look at the learning outcomes. Define the curriculum in the field of early childhood education. Explain the purpose of curriculum in early childhood education. Analyze the different developmental learning theories used in early childhood curriculum. Let's look at the introduction. A curriculum may not identify the developmental theory on which it is based. It probably reflects one of the many theories that explain a child's development and learning. Okay, several major theories will be discussed. Maturation theory, psychodynamic theory, cognitive development theory, ecological theory, multiple intelligence theory, social cultural theory. If you look at child curriculum, the word curriculum suggests different concepts to different audiences, the teachers, administrators, or parents. Well, a curriculum actually can be a set of specific activities, also a framework for making decisions about the theories, the choice of materials and activities, a comprehensive approach for fostering the development of a child. So a curriculum has many processes, levels or terms, including what takes place in classroom, which in turn reflects this center philosophy, goals and objectives. Let's look at terms used in curriculum, the term and also the meaning. The first one you can say is as the philosophy. Of course, the basic principles, attitudes and beliefs of the center. If you look at the goals, broad general overview of what the children are expected to gain from the program. So objective. Specific teaching techniques designed to meet the physical, intellectual, cultural, social, emotional and creative development of the children. Let's look at this overview of a child's curriculum. So regardless of the curriculum's specific focus, most early childhood educators agree on the following set of assumptions about a child's curriculum. Well, a curriculum is related to the overview of program quality. Actually, a curriculum must focus on the whole child program as well as integrate all areas of development. And playtime serves many functions for young children. Among the most important is that it is the primary mode for learning in early childhood education, development and learning process. So teachers must agree with the philosophy and practices of curriculum and understand its content. The teachers also must understand a child's development and theories of learning. Children are active learners. Well, curriculum should be developmentally appropriate. A curriculum should be aware of the role of the social and cultural context in a child's development and learning process as well. If you look at the purpose of curriculum, actually the reason for the curriculum for early childhood are society is actually trying to make early childhood institutions more visible. And with relevant research, society has come to realize the importance of child's early experiences as well. Well, early childhood education and care needs a national curriculum. So what happens, like it provides professionalism in early childhood education and a shared framework. So a guideline to measure quality in improvement and equity. And also it provides early childhood professionals a common framework to allow efficient communication between teachers and parents as well. Well, an early childhood program would need curriculum that could support every child's development from patterns to learning styles. And goals and objectives are children would need to learn, and the roadmap to achieve this is the curriculum. So this is achieved through routines and experiences. Well, if you look at influences of curriculum, well, in order to ensure appropriateness of a curriculum, the role of the teacher and the learning process of children have to be addressed. So let's look at the curriculum should take into account follow areas. Children's age. You have to attend to the child's age. According to it only we will be, framing everything, whatever the curriculum. So behavior or children's learning needs, linguistic and cultural background, economic status, teacher's prioritizing whether teacher has training taken, and teacher's professional development, that also should be there, and also the children's developmental age stages as well. Well, when it comes to a proper assessment system is specifically designed to perform an ongoing measurement of learning objectives and children engagement in meaningful tasks. A child's curriculum should also include parental involvement and partnerships to establish a meaningful ongoing communication. Well, with the availability of multiple curriculum model, there seems to be some confusion regarding which ones are appropriate for young children. So, although the early childhood education professional recommended the adoption of developmentally appropriate practices in program, there's not yet any research base to promote any single curriculum model as the best. So this is the process of curriculum development. You can just look at here. Designing, developing, implementing, and monitoring. Then again, evaluating, you will review. So designing and reviewing, you will developing, and then implementing, monitoring, and evaluation as well. The process of curriculum development design, actually the design stage involves all early preparation work to ensure the curriculum has relevance, appropriateness, and the practicality. So that is very much, we have to check whether the curriculum is with all this. And also when it comes to develop, and at the curriculum development stage, a document is gradually prepared, which would include vision statement, goal standards, performance, benchmark, learning out activities, learning and teaching materials, and instructional strategies, interdisciplinary connection, and the other integration activities which serve as a guide in the implementation of the curriculum. When it's come to implement, actually, this is the age when all stakeholders participate in the process to operationalize the curriculum and put it into practice. So therefore, the teachers would need to go seminars and also workshops to equip them with the relevant knowledge, skills, and attitude. So let's look at the monitor. Monitoring is actually required in order to collect data and verify that classroom practices is consistent and the desired goals and objectives also have been met with it. So when it comes to evaluate, so the data collected are analyzed to determine the effectiveness of the curriculum design and its implementation as they relate to the child. Also, the process also involves finding deficiencies and root causes. If you talk about the review, during the review stage, any information analyzed will be used to improve the curriculum. The various adjustment will incorporate any strength and address the weaknesses. Additional resources and useful teaching materials also can be added into the document. Let's talk about the development and learning theories. Okay. If I get the maturational theory, Arnold Gesel's maturation theory explained that a child's maturity depends on his or her genetic makeup and has a little to do with environment influences. Well, maturation theory identify different milestones or even that will occur at specific age levels. These have been used to help food guidelines for parents, also to track their child's development. And from maturational's point of view, a child's environment should be adapted to their needs and characteristics that have been genetically determined. So if you look at the psychodynamic theory, actually it's Sigmund Freud establishes early psychoanalysis theory, which is 1886, which focuses on instincts and the role of pathology. So the theory describes how child's personality developed during his or her childhood. So Freud's theory proposed that the mind can be divided into three main parts. It is like id, ego and superego. So Freud believed that thoughts, ideas and wishes that are in person's brain actually show how we behave. However, this is not easily accessible by conscious part of our mind. So if you say it is in the other way, our brain knows the things that our mind doesn't. So this aspect that we are not aware of is called the unconscious part of our mind. So psychodynamic theory proposes that personality characteristics are mostly a reflection of what is in our unconscious mind. So psychodynamic theory here is the ID, that's mean id, then you take it as the ego, then you will be taking as the superego, the three parts of mind. So, which is you take it as you would take it as unconscious, then the second one you can take it as pre-conscious, that is ego, and the conscious level is the superego. So what will happen when it is in the unconscious level? Like you selfish, I mean you have some selfish needs and also irrational wishes also, and you sometimes you get some violent motives, and also you get some shameful experiences, and also like emotional urges, you will have immoral urges as well, like so when it comes to ego, that is pre-conscious level, so you have stored knowledge there, and also your memories kind of. And when it comes to the conscious level, like it's like thoughts and perceptions. It's like this, like if a lecturer, male lecturer, when he's presenting his lecture in front of his students, probably the lecturer would like a particular girl, like that is his id. So he has the pleasure, like looking at the girl, and this is the pleasure. So what will happen when he goes to the ego? He will that is his this thing, his reality comes, then he feel like, oh my god, I should talk to her at the end of the session, I should get some information about. But what happens at the end is when it comes to the superego, it comes to his mind, he feels like she is like my granddaughter. Oh my god, I have to stop thinking, so I can't do it, it's not good to do likewise. So this is how ego and superego goes. So ego and superego are the three parts of the mind. During infancy, before personality begins to form, children are ruled entirely by their unconscious, what it is called id. It is largely based on pleasure principle, which demands immediate gratification of needs. For example, when we are hungry, our pleasure directs us to eat. This aspect of person's personality entirely unconscious. So when it comes to ego, refers to the Greek and Latin word for I. A personality structure which begins developing in early childhood can be interpreted as the self. This is partly conscious and partly unconscious together. To ego operates based on reality, that is attempts to help the child ID get it wants by judging the difference between real and imaginary. If a person is hungry, it might begin to imagine food and even dream about food. It may be regarded as irrational in nature. The ego, however, will try to determine how to get same real food. The ego helps a person satisfy its needs through reality. Let's come to the superego. Superego means above the ego. It includes the moral beliefs that the person learns from his or her family and society. The superego makes people feel proud when they do something right. The ego believes, and feel guilty when they do something they consider to be morally wrong. The conscious. Like as I said, the lecturer would realize that child is going to be she's like my granddaughter, or stop thinking of her, and can't do likewise. So when it comes to that is the superego. Okay, the superego, like the ego, is partly conscious and partly unconscious. The superego is like an instrument that checks on our moral conscience and creates feelings of pride and guilty according to the beliefs that have been learned within the family and culture. This explains the aspect of personality that holds all our intentionalized moral standards and beliefs of what we perceive to be right and wrong that we acquire from our parents and society. So it provides guidelines for us to make judgments. According to Freud, the superego begins to emerge at the age of 5. So let's talk about the cognitive development theory. According to Jean Piaget, he was a biologist interested to see how human adapts to see their environment, which he described as intelligence. Behavior or action shown by humans to adapt to the environment is controlled by mental schemata or schema. That is used to understand the world and designate action. Piaget further explained these reflexes that control behavior last a lifetime for animals, but in humans such as infants, they use reflexes to adapt to the environment, and then these will be replaced with constructed schemata. According to Piaget, there are 2 processes used by individuals throughout their lifetime to adapt to the environment in more complex manner, that is assimilation and accommodation. Let's look at accommodation. Accommodation is the process of changing cognitive structure in order to accept something from environment. So both processes are used simultaneously and alternately throughout life. Assimilation is the process of using the environment so that it can be placed in the pre-existing cognitive structure. An example of assimilation would be when an infant uses a sucking schemata that was developed, then he was sucking on small bottle when it attempt him to suck on a large bottle. So an example of accommodation would be then the child needs to modify a sucking schema, developing by sucking on a specific to one that would be successful for sucking on a bottle. Let's look at 4 stages in cognitive development. Sensory motor stage, pre-operational stage, toddler and early childhood, and concrete operational stage, elementary school and early adolescence. Description, sensory motor. This period has 6 sub-stages. Intelligence is demonstrated through motor activity without the usage of symbols. Knowledge of the word is limited, but it is at the development stage because it is only based on physical interactions or experiences. Children acquire object permanence or memory at about 7 months old. The child's mobility allows the child to begin developing new intellectual abilities. Pre-operational stage, that's a toddler and early childhood. In this period, intelligence is demonstrated through the usage of symbols, language begins to mature and memorizing are developed, but thinking is still in a non-logical and non-reversible manner. The other one is the concrete operational stage, elementary school and early adolescence. In this stage, intelligence is demonstrated through logical and systematic manipulation of symbols related to concrete objects, operationalization thinking or developmental actions that are reversible and egocentric thought diminishes. The last one, formal operational stage, adolescence and adulthood. Well, in this stage, individuals are able to relate to abstract concepts through the logical use of symbols. Only 35% of high school graduates in industrialized countries obtain formal operations. Many people do think formally during childhood. So many preschools are modeled on Piaget's theory, which forms the foundation of constructivist learning, discovery learning in one of the best teaching methods, as it's involved learning through explanation, which is the natural way for children to acquire knowledge. If you look at the ecological theory, Uric first introduced the ecological theory in 1970, and also he believed that the development of a child is affected by his or her surroundings. And according to Uric, divided the environment into 5 different levels, which are microsystem, mesosystem, exosystem, macrosystem, and chronos system. The ecological theory. Child, then you get the microsystem, mesosystem, exosystem, and macrosystems. That is you get family, immediate community, institutional community, political and social structure, that is you call chronos system. Let's talk about the multiple intelligence theory. Actually, this theory was developed by Dr. Howard Gardner, and he suggested that everyone has a different mind and that no two profiles of intelligence are the same. So he also explained that there are 8 primary intelligences, and individual could excel in 1 or 2 or 3 of these areas, but no one is good at all. So according to Gardner, he indicated that educators should take into account children's strengths and weaknesses and determine their learning styles. So a productive or more productive way of learning could be achieved for all children if a broader range of learning method is applied. So this is the multiple intelligence theory. So linguistic, word smart, logical, mathematical, logic smart, naturalistic, natural smart, spatial, picture smart, body kinesthetic, body smart, musical, music smart, and interpersonal, personal smart, people smart, and intrapersonal, that is going as self smart. So let's look at social cultural theory now. It is Vygotsky described learning as a social process where interaction between peers and adults play an important role in the development of cognition. So Vygotsky believed everything is learned into 2 levels. First at social level, where children interact in exchange for new information, and later at individual level, where understanding occurs inside the child, involving voluntary attention to logical memory and the formation of concept. Let's look at this social cultural theory. Another aspect of Vygotsky's theory is the idea that the potential cognitive development is limited to zonal of proximal development, collaborative learning. Modeling and scaffolding are strategies to support intercultural knowledge and skills of learners and facilitate learning. So the distance between the actual development level and the potential achievable level would be determined through problem solving under guidance. This is the zonal of proximal development. You can see that child's curriculum achievement ZPD, beyond reach at present. So that's all for today, and good luck with your studies, and thank you.